Hey everyone, today we're going to talk all about the Port of Brooklyn. We're going to talk about embarkation, debarkation, things to do before and after your cruise. Right after this. Hey everyone, Johnny from Bite Size Cruises. Welcome back to our channel. If it's your first time coming to check us out, we are a travel agency. We go on a bunch of cruises. We try to give you amazing information about cruise vacations, ships, all kinds of different things. So today we're going to talk all about the Port of Brooklyn. We're going to talk about the embarkation, the debarkation. When you book your cruise, if you book a cruise on MSC's Meraviglia over the next year or so, they are home porting at Brooklyn. So I heard a lot of people talk about this. Let me temper that a little bit. I heard a few people talk about this. A bunch of people said, I was coming in from Europe. My cruise said New York, so I went to the port of Manhattan. First of all, when you book a cruise, this is a good reason. I mean, it's a silly reason, but it's a good reason to use a travel agent. Your travel agent's going to tell you where the port is. Second of all, even if you book a cruise on your own, for all things holy, please check out the address of the port before you just drive 20 some miles away to a different port. There are multiple ports in New York. New York encompasses Manhattan, Brooklyn, Staten Island, Queens, right? You could say New York and mean any of those things. You could mean New York State. You could mean Albany. There's no cruise port there, but who knows, right? So one of the things I always like to tell people to do is just before you do anything, make sure you have the address of cruise ports. If you're going to another American cruise port, like Port Canaveral, Port Everglades, which is Fort Lauderdale, or Miami or whatever. I recently had one of my clients text me and say, what's the address and the port, the terminal for MSC in Miami? Which I of course know. So I just shot it over to them. But these are things that you may want to have like with you on your phone or written down so that you can call an Uber, or you can, when you're going to the port in the morning, if you're staying somewhere, you can just Uber right to the port. And don't take any chances just putting in like New York port, right? Because it might come up as Manhattan. So the port for MSC is in Brooklyn. It is Redfin. It's called Redfin Cruise Terminal. And we were on the first, again, I can see why it's confusing. We were on the first sailing out of Brooklyn. Cunard and a few other, Princess, I think, and Carnival maybe have used this terminal before. This was the first time MSC was cruising out of it. We got there the day ahead of time. Again, pro tip, I think most people know by now, if you are leaving on a cruise, we always recommend you get there a day early. Crazy things happen with traffic. We don't always do this. If I leave out of Bayonne, it's an hour from my house, and I'm driving. I generally drive up the morning of, just because it's so close and it's so convenient. It's so easy to park there. So if I'm going on Cape Liberty for Royal Caribbean or Celebrity, I'll just drive up. I'm doing that in a few weeks. So, but Manhattan, Brooklyn, Florida, any of those, I do recommend if you're not driving and it's not a short distance from your house, get there a day ahead of time. You never know with air travel. You never know with driving, traffic, accidents, anything. It's always better to be there. You're just calmer. It's really nice. So we stayed at the Red Hook Hotel, which is walking distance to the port. We drove. So then we could drive just over to the port in the morning. For Brooklyn, it's a little, we're coming from Philadelphia, the Philly area. So for Brooklyn, it's a little convoluted to take public transportation. If I go to Manhattan, generally I'll just take the train, right? It drops you off at Madison Square Garden there, and then you just book whatever hotel and you can get a Uber or Lyft or walk to whatever hotel. Generally, if we're doing Manhattan, we will stay at Inc. 48, which is right up the street from the terminal. Then we just walk in the morning. We walk when we get back to get an Uber or whatever. For this one, since it was the first time we were going, we did drive. We stayed at the Red Hook, which is just a few blocks away from the terminal. We did drive there in the morning. Driving there in the morning, the parking lot opens at 9. As you know, people get there early for cruises, so there was already tons of cars in the parking lot. We got there about 9:15, 9:30. Our check-in time was 10. So first cruise out of Brooklyn, which means that for anybody who doesn't know, There was a repositioning cruise prior to ours, which meant that the cruise started in Port Canaveral. I think it was a 10-day cruise that came up and dropped everyone off on the 20th of April. The 21st of April, they did a tour day of the cruise ship for all the travel advisors and people that work for MSC and all different people who are involved with hospitality or travel. And Brooklyn could come and check out the Meraviglia since it was the first time it's going to be there. So when we went to the cruise ship, it was empty. That's a critical piece of information because all the information I give you is based on us getting there and no one being on the ship. And then I do have, I had clients going on the next sailing. So kind of give you that information. So we get there about 9:15, 9:30. We were in the yacht club. We walked up to like the entrance. We told them we were in the yacht club. They took our luggage. We usually do walk on. We don't check bags. We just walk on with our luggage and we huff it around until it's ready. Because generally we bring cameras and stuff. We don't want them to get broken. And we don't bring a ton of luggage. So we got to the terminal. The yacht club people came out with their gloves and tuxes on. They took our luggage. They took us inside, literally handed us an envelope, checked our information, handed us our bands, and we literally walked on the ship. So we were on the ship by 9:35 in the morning, 9:40 maybe at the latest. Does that make sense? Yeah. I mean, it was less than 10 minutes. We were on the ship. We were in the lounge. We had champagne in our hands, which is at 9:30 in the morning. Embrace it, right? So we did that. We got a little tour of the yacht club, and then we were on our way. Our rooms were already ready because, again, it was the first sailing out of New York. There was nobody on the ship. So we went right to our rooms. We dropped off our stuff. They dropped off our bags, and we were off and running. Parking at the terminal is $45 a day. Currently, it used to be $22. Not anymore. It's $45, but it was very easy. You come in. There's people there. You just swipe your card. They give you a receipt. You're done. You don't have to pay when you leave. It's already taken care of. You pull in, you park, and there was plenty of parking. I don't think it's a huge terminal. I don't think it could hold 5,000 cars like Cape Liberty, but big enough. We got there. I didn't hear of anybody having issues. We asked around if anybody had issues parking. The only issues, like I said, that I heard of was a bunch of people from Europe who had gone to the Manhattan terminal, realized quickly that the ship wasn't there, and then had to get all the way back across town into Brooklyn to get on the Meraviglia, which was fine. They were on and everybody got on, and all's well that ends well. So the Brooklyn terminal from that perspective was great. The Red Hook Hotel that we stayed in was very nice. It was fine. My expectations with hotels, I have very low expectations. I don't need fancy schmancy. I need utilitarian. I'm there to sleep. I want it to be clean. I want it to be quiet. I would prefer that the rooms get cool. We've had 2 rooms in a row, one in Miami. One in Miami, one in Brooklyn here, that it was just hot as all get out in the room. It might have been our fault for not turning the air down. But I don't need anything else that's really fancy. Within that little port area there, so the hotel is keyless. Like you go in, you're supposed to be able to check in on your phone or a kiosk there. It didn't work for anybody. I didn't see anybody successfully do that. However, there was a person at the desk there, so they checked us in. Everything was fine. There is no food at that hotel, the Red Hook Lodge. There was only a vending machine. No problem. You're in Brooklyn. There's plenty of things to do. So the night before the cruise, we walked around. We had coffee at a cute little coffee shop. We then went and had dinner at the Lobster Pound, which was great. And that's like 2 blocks from the terminal, 2 blocks from the hotel, very close. And then the morning of the cruise, we got up and we went out. Also the night before, we went to a little museum that was there. If you watched our pre-cruise vlog, you would have seen that. We also went to a cool little chocolate shop that's right there that was really good as well. And we bought some chocolate before we got on the cruise. And I think I left that in my cruise fridge. Live and learn. So the morning of our cruise, we again left. We went to a different little coffee shop. We met a delightful German couple that was getting on the same cruise. We talked to them for about a half an hour. We only saw them once on the ship. I saw her once on the ship. We never actually saw him again. but they were having a great time. So that was nice. When we got back, getting off the cruise ship, it was a miserable morning. It was pouring out. Again, being in the yacht club, we do have some preferential treatment if you're walking off the ship. They do, your butler does come up to the lounge and literally walks you right down, right to the exit. Meg forgot her car key in the safe up in the room. So we had gotten to the exit. She had to go back up. They escorted her back up so she didn't have to fight through the crowd. Came back down and we were good to go. And we were out of the terminal by 7 a.m. I was home by 8:30 in the morning, all the way home to Philadelphia, which is pretty spectacular because I had to pick up my dog and stuff. So that was great. The terminal was great. We did talk to other people getting on and off the ship, and embarkation was very smooth. I wanted to make sure we had good information. Debarkation was smooth as well. Just like any other cruise line, I think nowadays a lot of people just walk off and there is a huge line in the morning. So you just get in line, you wait, you get off the ship. It's fine. But parking again, getting out of the parking lot was a breeze. Getting over the Verrazano in the morning was great. There was no issues. It was a Sunday morning. Everything was fine. So all of that was great. I have clients that got on the next sailing. I wanted to find out what it was like on a normal embarkation where they were clearing the ship. They were on the ship by 10:30 in the morning and everything was a breeze as well. So MSC seems to be pretty efficient at getting people on and off the ship in Brooklyn, which is great. That's all the information I have for today. That was a little long-winded today, but I hope you appreciated some of the detail. Tomorrow we're going to talk about Port Canaveral, which, ad nauseum we've done, and then Nassau, and then Ocean Cay again. So thanks so much for checking out our videos. We would love for you to subscribe and come along, get some information here. If you have any feedback or any questions, feel free to drop a comment, and we will talk to you all soon. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.